You can feel it even when she's sitting right next to you. Her body's here, but her mind is scrolling somewhere else, in another world, another screen, another story that isn't yours. You ask what's wrong. She says nothing. But you can feel the silence, heavy, distant, familiar. Modern loyalty doesn't die in betrayal. It dies in distraction. Women today don't fall out of love because they've changed. They fall out because the world never lets them stay. Every like, every comment, every new possibility becomes a microdose of emotional escape. She's not faithless, she's overstimulated, and in a world where attention is currency, loyalty doesn't disappear. It just gets traded for whatever feels new. Number 1. The age of endless options. Once upon a time, loyalty was born out of limitation. You met someone, built a life, and stayed. Not because every day was perfect, but because the world didn't hand you 1,000 exits disguised as possibilities. Today, love exists inside an economy of endless options. She doesn't have to walk away to leave. She can disappear in her phone. Every notification offers her a parallel reality. New faces, new conversations, new validations. And while most men still compete with other men, the truth is, you're competing with attention itself. Modern women live in a constant state of emotional stimulation. Likes, messages, compliments, new followers. Each one triggers the same chemical system once reserved for genuine intimacy. Dopamine becomes the new devotion, and the more often she receives it, the harder it becomes for her nervous system to bond with consistency. That's the paradox of the modern era. Abundance has made everyone emotionally unavailable. When every moment promises something better, loyalty begins to feel like confinement. Because loyalty requires stillness, and stillness is intolerable to a mind addicted to movement. So she doesn't cheat because she's disloyal. She disconnects because the modern world rewards her for doing so. It tells her she can have more attention, more validation, more excitement, without consequence. But here's the psychological cost. When attention becomes currency, intimacy becomes debt. She can't truly connect with anyone because part of her is always calculating what else is available. And that's why so many modern relationships crumble quietly. Not through infidelity, but through option fatigue. When the mind is trained to chase variety, the heart forgets how to rest in commitment. You can't compete with endless options, but you can transcend them by becoming the one presence her overstimulated mind can't replace. Number 2. Emotional overload, intimacy deprivation. Everywhere she goes, she's being seen, but rarely felt. Her life is full of faces, compliments, DMs, affirmations, and filters. But what she's missing is connection, the kind that reaches beyond performance. Modern women have traded emotional depth for emotional display. They share, but they don't open. They post, but they don't reveal. They connect with hundreds, but belong to none. On the surface, she looks empowered, confident, independent, expressive. But underneath that, most are exhausted. Exhausted from being on all the time. Exhausted from performing versions of themselves that get attention but never peace. And that exhaustion changes how they love. Because love requires surrender, but surrender feels unsafe when your world runs on competition. In the past, loyalty came from belonging. Today, belonging feels like weakness. Women are told to never depend on anyone, to stay guarded, to keep options open. But those mantras, while empowering in theory, often destroy the emotional foundation of loyalty. Because loyalty isn't a moral stance, it's an emotional decision. It requires safety, not options. It requires stillness, not stimulation. And the modern feminine rarely experiences stillness long enough to form that kind of bond. That's why so many modern women live in emotional overload, surrounded by attention yet starved of intimacy. And the result? They crave what they fear, depth. They want connection but can't sit in it without anxiety. They say they want loyalty but unconsciously chase excitement. It's not hypocrisy, it's conditioning. The system trained her to measure her value through attention, and when that attention fades, so does her sense of worth. So she leaves, not to find someone better, but to find herself again in a place where she can feel. Because when emotions are constantly overstimulated, numbness starts to feel like safety. The tragedy is simple. Modern women don't struggle with love. They struggle with emotional capacity. They've learned how to attract everything except peace. Number 3. The feminine identity crisis. The modern woman was told she could be everything, and she believed it. Strong, independent, ambitious, desired, free, and she became it. But in that transformation, something ancient got buried. Her ability to surrender without shame. Modern empowerment taught her how to control outcomes, not how to trust presence. It taught her how to achieve, not how to receive. And while the world praises her success, few realize the quiet cost, the disconnection from her own feminine essence. She's been taught to compete with the very men she once admired, to prove she doesn't need him, even when she secretly longs to rest in his strength. But you can't surrender to what you're conditioned to outperform. You can't stay loyal to what you don't feel safe yielding to. That's the feminine identity crisis of our time. Women no longer know if strength means independence or inner peace, so they keep choosing the louder one, and loyalty. True loyalty can't survive inside that confusion. Because loyalty isn't about obedience, it's about emotional alignment. A woman can't stay devoted to a man if she's at war with the part of herself that knows how to follow him. It's not rebellion, it's resistance. To vulnerability, to dependence, to the idea that love might still require polarity. The irony is, modern women crave the very thing they've been taught to distrust: stability, leadership, emotional containment. They're tired of leading everything, controlling everything, holding everything together. They want a man they can soften around, but they can't, because the world told them soft equals weak and weak equals unsafe. So they oscillate between independence and exhaustion, too guarded to surrender, too lonely not to. And every time loyalty asks for depth, their defenses whisper, "Don't fall, you'll lose yourself." The result? They confuse detachment for empowerment, and devotion, that sacred feminine loyalty that used to be a woman's strength, becomes rare, not because it's gone, but because she's been taught to survive without it. Number 4, the death of admiration. Loyalty doesn't begin with love, it begins with admiration. Before a woman gives you her devotion, she gives you her respect. And when that respect dies, her loyalty follows right after. In the modern world, admiration is the first casualty. Because modern men, overwhelmed, uncertain, reactive, often confuse approval with leadership. They think being agreeable earns affection. It doesn't. It earns predictability, and predictability kills admiration. Most men are no longer leading their own lives. They're adjusting to hers. They're tiptoeing around emotions, trying to keep the peace, and mistaking emotional compliance for maturity. But peace without polarity isn't peace. It's tension disguised as calm. When a woman no longer feels your direction, she stops trusting your strength. And when she stops trusting your strength, she unconsciously withdraws her loyalty. Because her loyalty isn't to you, it's to what she feels through you. That's why she was once drawn to you. Not because you were perfect, but because you were certain. Because your focus had weight. Your words carried conviction. Your presence made her relax. But over time, modern pressure dulls that edge. Work drains you. Distraction weakens you. You stop pursuing, stop leading, stop radiating the energy she once admired, and she starts to drift. It's not that she's disloyal, it's that she's uninspired. You became safe, but not strong. Consistent, but not captivating. And the feminine can't stay loyal to a man she no longer feels drawn to follow. That's the part most men miss. Women don't leave because they want chaos. They leave because they need aliveness. And when your energy goes dull, she'll chase that feeling elsewhere. Not because she's lost her morals, but because you lost your gravity. The death of admiration is the death of loyalty. Because you can't stay devoted to what no longer moves you. And if you want her loyalty back, it doesn't start with controlling her behavior. It starts with resurrecting your presence. Number 5, the new addiction, validation loops. She opens her phone before she opens her eyes. 1,000 stories before breakfast. 12 hearts, comments and notifications before she's even left her bed. The modern woman wakes up in a dopamine storm. She doesn't mean to. It's just the world she lives in. Every post, every message, every micro-interaction triggers her nervous system like a slot machine that never closes. And over time, that becomes the new emotional diet. Not peace, not intimacy, but stimulation. That's why loyalty feels harder now. Because loyalty requires stillness, and her nervous system has been trained to crave movement. when everything is designed to pull her attention outward, what she wears, how she's perceived, who's watching. Her emotions are constantly being outsourced for approval. And here's the truth. A woman who's addicted to attention doesn't even know she's addicted. Because attention doesn't look like a drug. It looks like affirmation. But just like any addiction, it has a side effect: emotional numbness. The more external validation she gets, the less sensitive she becomes to internal connection. And connection, the slow, quiet, real kind, starts to feel dull. So when you offer her depth, she doesn't reject it consciously, she just can't feel it. Her emotional baseline has been rewired to crave spikes of dopamine, not the steady warmth of loyalty. You can't be loyal to one source of connection when your nervous system is programmed to need variety. It's not that she wants someone else, it's that she doesn't know how to sit still long enough to bond again. This isn't judgment, it's biology hijacked by technology. Because the same chemical loop that once made love addictive now makes attention addictive. The modern woman isn't faithless, she's overstimulated. She's not incapable of love, she's chemically out of balance. And until she detoxes from the illusion of constant validation, she'll keep mistaking novelty for intimacy and distraction for desire. Number 6. The disappearance of the masculine frame. For all the talk about feminine confusion, there's another truth men must face. She can't stay loyal because he stopped leading. Not with control, not with dominance, with direction. The masculine frame, that ancient steady energy that used to hold the storm of the feminine, has all but disappeared. Modern men have confused neutrality with strength, passivity with peace, logic with leadership. They've become emotionally safe but spiritually absent, reliable but uninspiring, present but disconnected, and women feel it. Even if they can't explain it, they can sense when a man's center is hollow, when he's performing strength instead of embodying it. And the moment she feels that emptiness, her instinct starts scanning for stability elsewhere. Here's the psychology. Feminine loyalty doesn't come from comfort. It comes from containment. A woman stays loyal not to the man who pleases her, but to the one who grounds her, to the man whose energy is so steady, her chaos finally rests. But that energy is rare now. Men have become mirrors, reflecting her moods, fears, and emotions instead of anchoring them. And you can't be the mirror and the mountain at the same time. Every time you seek approval, explain your worth, or react to her withdrawal, you chip away at the very frame she's testing for. Because she doesn't test to destroy you, she tests to find out if you can contain her. Containment isn't control, it's calm authority. It's the ability to hold space for her emotion without losing your center. When that disappears, so does her devotion. Because the feminine can't stay loyal to instability, not because she's fickle, but because her nervous system needs something solid to trust. So when men stop being rooted, women start drifting, not away from love, away from uncertainty. The irony. The loyalty modern men crave from women can only exist in the presence they've forgotten how to maintain. Number 7. The feminine test of modern times. The more unstable the world becomes, the more the feminine tests. It's not new, it's biological. But in the modern era, those tests have become amplified. Because deep down, every woman is asking one silent question: can I trust your strength when mine collapses? That's what her moods, comparisons, withdrawals, and contradictions are really about. They're not attacks, they're inquiries, emotional ways of checking whether your calm is real or just an act. When she provokes, she's not trying to hurt you, she's trying to see you, because every woman knows one truth: you can't fake presence under pressure. That's why arguments, silences, and emotional spirals aren't random chaos. They're subconscious tests of your frame. She wants to know if your peace depends on her behavior. If it does, she can't relax into you. This is the feminine paradox. She both resents and needs masculine steadiness. She'll push it to the edge, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. The fear of surrendering to something that might not be stable. But here's where modern confusion begins. Today's woman has been told to never need a man. So she tests not to follow, but to confirm that she doesn't have to. She's torn between instinct and ideology. Her biology wants to trust. Her conditioning won't let her. And men misread this. They take it personally. They get defensive or withdraw. But that's the trap. Every reaction reaffirms her fear that you can't hold the storm. A woman stops testing the moment she feels anchored. Not controlled, not convinced, anchored. The modern woman, though, lives in a world that's all movement and noise, so she tests harder, not because she's cruel, but because the ground beneath her never stops shifting. Loyalty, for her, isn't about faithfulness, it's about feeling safe enough to rest. And when the masculine reclaims his stillness, her testing stops, not because she changed, but because she finally found what she was searching for. Number 8, the emotional recalibration. Eventually, every man who's been through this cycle, the disconnection, the testing, the loss, faces a choice. Keep reacting or recalibrate. Because you can't demand loyalty from chaos. You can only inspire it through composure. Emotional recalibration begins the moment you stop chasing understanding and start embodying certainty. You stop trying to fix her emotions. You stop competing with her attention. You stop reacting to her silence. You return to yourself, to your breath, your discipline, your direction. Because when a man finds peace within himself, everything around him starts to align. That's the paradox of polarity. The moment you no longer need her loyalty, you become the one she can't betray. Because she doesn't feel loyalty as an obligation, she feels it as an energy. And when that energy is strong, stable, and unbothered, her instincts shift from testing to trusting. It's not about power, it's about peace, the kind that radiates from a man who no longer needs to prove anything. You want to know why women in chaos chase unstable men? Because instability feels like energy, and energy feels like life. But when a man learns to project calm intensity, stillness with presence, he gives her both, safety and excitement. That combination is irresistible. This is emotional recalibration, when your stillness becomes louder than her noise, when your energy holds weight, not words, when she can feel, without logic, that your world will remain standing even if hers falls apart. Most men think they need to teach women loyalty. They don't. They need to embody something worth being loyal to. Because no matter how modern the world gets, the feminine instinct remains ancient. She will always surrender to what feels stronger than her emotions. Not physically, energetically. And when your energy becomes immovable, her loyalty stops being a struggle. It becomes natural. The truth is, modern women aren't incapable of loyalty. They've just forgotten what stability feels like. And once you remind them, not through words but through your energy, they remember what it means to rest again. Number 9, the return of devotion. Loyalty was never the real problem. It was devotion, the quiet, sacred energy that used to live inside love. Because devotion isn't obedience, it's alignment. It's what happens when a woman's heart feels safe enough to follow without fear. And the truth is, modern women haven't lost the ability to be devoted. They've just lost the environments where devotion makes sense, where the masculine is strong enough to hold her emotion without collapsing under it, where leadership doesn't mean control and surrender doesn't mean weakness. When a man rebuilds that energy within himself, the calm, confident, self-led presence that no longer seeks validation, something ancient wakes up in the feminine. It's almost invisible at first. Her tone softens, her body language changes, her guard drops without instruction, because the feminine doesn't respond to persuasion, it responds to atmosphere. When she feels that your world is stable, she starts to trust again. When she sees that your direction is certain, she starts to admire again. And when she senses that your peace is real, she starts to surrender again. That's the real miracle of polarity. The feminine doesn't find her devotion through pressure, she rediscovers it through presence. Modern women are not broken. They're simply tired of leading their own emotional worlds. They've been strong for so long that they've forgotten what softness feels like. But when you stand in front of her with calm certainty, without trying to fix, prove, or control, you remind her of what she's been missing. Not you, but her. The part of her that feels safe enough to stop performing. The part that can finally breathe. The part that remembers what it means to trust. And that's when devotion returns. Not because you demanded it, not because she owed it, but because your energy made it possible. This is the quiet secret no one teaches anymore. The feminine becomes loyal again the moment the masculine becomes still. Not loud, not perfect, just still enough for her storm to find its rest. That's not control, that's gravity. And every woman, no matter how modern, still responds to it. 5 years from now, this world will be even louder. More distractions, more opinions, more noise pretending to be connection. But beneath all of it, the truth will stay the same. Loyalty can't survive where presence is missing. Modern women can't stay loyal, not because they've changed, but because the world taught them chaos. It told them movement is power, validation is safety, independence is identity. And they believed it, until they realized that chaos feels powerful, but never peaceful. So what does a man do in a world like this? He stops chasing loyalty as if it's something to possess. He starts embodying it, inside himself. Because the man who is loyal to his purpose, his values, his peace, becomes magnetic. He doesn't need to convince a woman to stay. His energy makes leaving feel unnatural. He doesn't need to demand respect. His composure commands it. He doesn't need to fight for attention. His silence outshines the noise. That's what leadership looks like now. Not dominance, not performance, but presence so steady that the world slows down when she's with you. Because the harsh truth is, modern women aren't searching for perfection. They're searching for peace. They want to feel safe enough to stop pretending they don't care. They want to relax again. And when they finally meet a man who knows how to be still, their loyalty, their devotion, their softness comes rushing back like it never left. You can spend your life blaming the modern world for killing loyalty, or you can become the kind of man who brings it back. Because peace is rare now, and in a world addicted to chaos, rarity always commands devotion. So what's it going to be? Keep chasing distraction, or start mastering stillness. Keep demanding loyalty, or start embodying it. Because once you master your presence, you won't need to question who's loyal. You'll already know.